What is up, YouTube? JankyYGO here. My name is Michael. Today we are going to be going over some new cards that have been spoiled and shown from Duelist Pack 22. So, we're going to waste no time, jump right into it. The first card is called Puppet Parade. It's more Gimmick Puppet support. It is a trap card, a normal trap card. You can only activate one of this card's name per turn. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, special summon Gimmick Puppet monsters with different names from your deck up to the difference, and then if your opponent's life points are at least 2,000 or higher than yours, or 2,000 higher, so yeah, 2,000, if they're 2,000 or higher, you can set one rank up magic normal spell directly from your deck. After this card resolves, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except for Gimmick Puppet monsters. So you know what this card does is it is a bad card in that deck for the simple fact that all Gimmick Puppets want to do is try to OTK. They're a one-turn deck. At the end of the day, they're a one-turn deck. Try to kill the opponent. They can't stun very hard. They can't, or anything like that. So I don't see a use for this card outside of, like someone that just wants to, maybe have fun with their friends at, like, maybe play at locals. You can play this card if your locals isn't, like, super competitive. But when this card comes out in the TCG online, you can play it if you want. But I think if you want the most competitive version of Gimmick Puppets, which isn't saying a lot because that deck isn't super competitive. No offense to the Gimmick Puppet players out there, but the deck has been power creeped, and this isn't going to be enough in my opinion, and that's just a sad fact about it. But anyway, we're going to move on, and because we have more cards to talk about, and we're going to talk about Supreme King Castle, which is right here, this middle card. This middle card right here. So, Supreme King Castle is a field spell. You can fusion summon a fusion monster that must be special summoned with Dark Fusion, with the effect of, without Dark Fusion. You can summon a fusion monster that requires Dark Fusion without Dark Fusion with it. That's the layman's terms. That's the easiest way for me to put it. And then once per turn, during damage calculation, if your Fiend monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send one Evil Hero monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then the battling monster, yours, in fact, gains attack equal to 200 times that monster's level. So, what makes this card good? The fact that you can use Super Poly. I had to stumble there for a second because I was trying to think if the Foolish Burial effect was good or not. I think it's okay. I don't think it's like it's a good effect, because sending an Evil Hero monster from your deck or extra deck is good, and the attack base, can save you. But Evil Heroes at the end of the day are an OTK deck again. Like, I think most of the decks that are getting support in this are turning into OTK decks, and that's just fine because that's kind of what Yu-Gi-Oh is it's either you stun out your opponent or you OTK them. That's just how the game has evolved into. And I think that the whole battling thing you can, I guess, because you can play it, attack them, send, gain a few hundred, and if you can't finish them off, with the, if you send this one to the graveyard, you can banish from your graveyard to special summon another Evil Hero from the deck. So yeah, that's pretty good. There's still good synergy with the deck, and the fact that you can use Super Poly in the deck with this now is good, and it's more of a flavor win, because in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, when Jaden Yuki, which is the English version of the name, I never watched the sub growing up, and I never bothered to go back and watch it, so sorry if I don't know that one. He used Super Poly in it, and that was when Super Poly got its anime premiere. But yeah, it was And then, you know, the cards came out and you couldn't use it and people were upset. But anyway, moving on. It's a fine card for the deck. It probably isn't going to make the cut just because it's like slightly not good enough. Next card we're going to talk about is Earthbound Immortal support. So the ultimate Earthbound Immortal is the roughly translated name. This is probably going to change in the TCG to something a little bit different. It's a continuous trap card that says if you normal summon an Earthbound or set one, you can if a normal summon or set is on the field, you can pop a card. And you can only use that card's name, the effect of this card's name, once per turn. So it pops cards and everything like that. But like I said earlier, like these decks are moving to more OTK fashion. I've seen tons of videos with the more recent Earthbound Immortal supports where they just keep OTKing people, and that's all that deck does is just bam, OTK, which is good. I'm okay with that. And so yeah, I don't think, which means that, you know, trap cards aren't very good in OTK decks because you're just trying to kill them as fast as possible. Slowing them down doesn't really help you. And yeah, we're gonna move on to more Gimmick Puppet support. So, it's a continuous spell card. You can use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. You can now banish one Gimmick Puppet monster that has a level in your graveyard until the end of turn. Levels of all monsters you control become the banished monster's level. If a face-up Gimmick Puppet monster or monsters are destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Gimmick Puppet monsters and special summon it. So, this card fuels its second ability. There's a Drury Doll from the old support fuels its second ability, and they're all darks, so you can play Allure of Darkness in the deck and also get its second ability. However, the first effect isn't very useful because all the monsters you're going to be playing in this deck, once all these cards come out, are going to be the level 8s. There'll probably be like maybe maybe 2 level 4s, but I don't see it happening because of all the new support that they're getting. Like the level 8s, the special summon himself that we covered on the channel. I'll put the link to that video into the description. And the second effect is too slow because it floats and it kind of helps you stay alive. But the thing about Gimmick Puppets is they're a one-turn deck. They want to go second, and they just want to kill your opponents. That's all they want to do on their first turn. And unfortunately, there are decks that do it better now because, like I said earlier, the deck has been power creeped, and this support isn't enough. Like, the monsters they got earlier that we covered were good and like on the right track, but I feel like for their spell and trap cards that they're coming out with, they've kind of fallen flat. Also, that's a trap card. That's the spell card we're talking about. And this is going to be the trap card for the new Predaplant card that we're talking about, called Predaplanting. Oh man, excuse me. It's a normal trap card. You can use each effect among the first and second effects with this card's name only once per turn. You can send one Predaplant monster from your deck to the graveyard. Place one predator counter on each face-up monster on the field, and if you do, any of those monsters that are level 2 or higher become level 1 as long as they have a predator counter. If you fusion summon a dark monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a card on the field, and destroy it. I don't like this card very much, but I don't play Predaplants. I think its first effect is great. I think its second effect is great. Why don't I like it? It is a trap card, for one, and two, as I've been saying this whole video, I'm sorry if it's annoying people, is the decks just want to OTK. Like all of the decks that are getting support today, they want to kill your opponents, they want to OTK, and that's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been moving to. It's always OTK and stun, and that's just how the game is now. But anyway, if it's your birthday today, happy birthday. If you want to send any replays into me or into the channel to prove me wrong about any of these cards, because they'll probably be up on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro and Dueling Book soon anyway. If they're not already up, go ahead and send us. Our email will be in the description. And of course, have a wonderful day.